Hi, it's Craig from Your Travel Expert here, and I'm back with Sharon at the Gabby Cafe in the Gabba. And today we're going to talk about a product that I'm very passionate about, and I'm actually one of the few agents in Australia that can truly say they are fully accredited with, and that's Tauck Tours. Now, Tauck are an amazing tour company that have been around for nearly 100 years now, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're 95 years young this year. Yeah, started back in 1925.
And it was Arthur Tauck, wasn't it, that
Absolutely.
started it?
Arthur Tauck was a travelling salesman, and he was on a jaunt one day selling his wares. He used to sell coin trays that they had in banks in the day. And he was out there and he looked around. He was in the Wigwam Cafe in the New England area of the US. And he looked around, and everybody else that was in the cafe were other travelling salespeople. But there were no actual guests and clients and visitors to the area. And he happened upon this idea: what if he hired a Studebaker and invited people to come on a journey, and he could show this destination that he'd gotten to know so well as he'd been selling his wares. And on that very first journey, he did put an advert in the paper. It was an advert, and it was for 6-day jaunt around New England for $69 US. Now, we have gone up a little bit since then. It said no pessimists or grumps allowed.
And I believe that's still...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And he got 6 people to take that first journey, and he thought it might have been a bit of a one-off. But he had letters from the friends of these people and said, on your next trip, I want to come, I want to come. And before you knew it, Tauck was born. And that's how it started. And
Tauck now operate escorted tours literally on all the major continents.
Absolutely, all continents, yep.
They operate a wide river cruising program as well too.
We certainly do.
And they also do partner up as well too with one of our other favourite products, Pinot, for some of their ocean programs.
It's really nice, and it's great that Tauck is recognised with Pinot that they have the most beautiful, luxurious small ships, and it works very well with the Tauck ethos of ensuring that our guest requirements definitely always come first, and we want to make sure that we're looking after their needs and giving them a unique experience that they just wouldn't get travelling with anyone else.
And it's things like as well too, I believe it was the monastery at Passau, I think you were telling me about, where another operator who will remain nameless, they walked past the library and it was, this is the library. Yet the Tauck passengers came up and the velvet rope had been pulled to one side and someone was standing there with white gloves and saying, come on in, we've put some books out for you to have a look at, please put on the white gloves and whatnot. So they were actually getting something that
it's amazing. I've actually done it myself. It's actually in the Strahov Monastery in Prague.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And it is absolutely spectacular experience to be there, being escorted into this place where nobody else gets to go. Now, they have world globes there. They're so old, Australia's not even on the globe. Like, that is incredible. You think, wow. But that's just one of the many experiences. Whether we're in Vienna, we go into the beautiful Palacini Palace where Prince Eduardo actually still resides, and our guests are entertained in this incredible ballroom where Beethoven and Mozart played back in the day. It is spectacular, served a beautiful food and entertained by local dancers and vocalists. It's incredible.
Yeah. Now, Tauck, when they're putting together a program, I believe it's like about a 3-year program for getting it together.
Yeah.
You know, to make sure that everything is the best they can possibly be, and the best tour guides and services and accommodation and what have you.
It's sourced with the client in mind, and it's choreographed to ensure that the client is not feeling like they're rushed on holiday either. That's really important. But before we ever put a journey together, we send our tour architects, we call them, our product people, and they go and live in the destination for 6 months to find out the little extra things. Many years ago, we had a tour that went into Florence where the tour architects had met the mayor. The mayor was an accomplished pianist, and he used to play for our guests. But this is just one example of many, many others in his own personal home. So it's these unique connections that really turn a holiday into an experience of a lifetime.
And things like as well too, one of the things I've noticed with Tauck is that, yes, the brochure price might be a little bit more expensive than what maybe some of the mainstream product that's out there. But when you sit down and see that there's absolutely no optional extras and it's very much a fully inclusive product, they're not, nobody's having to put their hand in their pocket.
It certainly is, and it's really nice when you add up everything that you spend on a holiday, maybe with a different competitor, when you put all your spending money together, plus your upfront fee that you've paid, you'll find that you're probably paying less for so much more when you're travelling with Tauck. Because we do stay in the best hotels, but not the best hotels just because they're the best, but the best hotels that are centrally located to the icon that you're there to see. So you're spending less time commuting from place to place. When you get there, for example, at the Louvre in Paris, everybody wants to go to the Louvre, but it can take a whole day. Unless you're there as a guest of Tauck, then we'll take you in after hours, and you'll have 3 hours with local guides that are there, employed by the Louvre, to really showcase and share their passion with the artwork. So you can see the Mona Lisa without the crowds. You don't have to get your elbows out and push people out of the road. You can actually get there and see these incredible artworks without the crowds.
And the other one thing I really do like about Tauck is the dinner on Tauck. The dining, it's not going into a hotel dining room and being given the tours menu.
Yeah,
you get the proper menu.
A la carte,
The a la carte and what have you. And they also allow you to organise at some suburban some local other...
There are places that you can go to. I'll give you an example. When we go into the Grand Canyon and we're staying inside the park, and that's something that's really important. All of our canyon experiences are inside the park accommodation, and so you'll have a choice of dining experiences that you can have, whether it be A, B or C, different venues if you want to dress up, if you want a more casual fare, etc. And you can just let your tour director know, who's a full-time employee of the company, you can just let them know that you would like to have dinner at such and such restaurant. He'll make the reservation for you, and then at the end, this is the kicker, you just sign Tauck. Doesn't matter if you have 2 desserts, no one's going to tell. It's all good.
Really? I can have 2?
Yes, you can.
Now, the other thing that I learned about with Tauck as well too, that a lot of your suppliers have a little anagram, TCT.
TCF.
TCF, sorry.
Yep.
Tauck comes first.
That's exactly right. And I've heard it with my own ears. When we stay at the Fairmont properties in Canada, so we visit all of those beautiful Fairmont properties, not only do you get to stay there, if you're at Chateau Lake Louise, you also get a lake view front room. And instead of lining up at 4 p.m. when they open for everybody to come in, instead of us having to line up, our coach will arrive with our guests. Our tour director will disembark the coach, be handed the keys. Everybody is shown to their room really easily while other people are struggling with their luggage and still lining up. But then I heard one day the staff just go, TCF. I'm thinking, Tauck comes first. And I loved it. I could so get used to that, let me tell you. In the 14 years that I've worked with Tauck, I'm so proud to represent the company. And I believe in them. I believe they're an incredible holiday experience. We are now priced in Australian dollars, and it is well priced. It's really good value for money. And as you've said, you're not putting your hand in your pocket at all. It's a real effort to spend money, especially on our river cruise program.
Yeah. Now, that's the one thing I wanted to talk about with your river cruises.
Yeah, oh, great.
Yeah. Now, I know the ships are all the same size and what have you.
Well, we have 2 different styles. We've got 8 ships currently.
Yep.
We were to introduce our 9th ship this year, but of course that's changed. So, but we do have a 9th ship that is on the Douro in Portugal. But we have 2 different styles of ships. We've got our larger, which will accommodate 130 guests at maximum double occupancy. Or we've got our smaller ships will accommodate 98 guests at maximum double occupancy. Now, I'm stressing this because we also have a policy for our guests that travel solo that we will not charge them a supplement for the lead-in Category 1 cabins, which are still really large. They fit in a queen-size bed. You've got a couple of chairs. It's still
private facilities.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's still 14 square meters.
Yeah.
Just under 14 square meters. So it's large. So it's really good for the solo guests if they do want to travel with Tauck because 1, they don't have to pay any supplement. supplement at all, but they can know that there's plenty of other solo guests on board, and these other solo guests they'll be able to travel with and make many, many friends.
Now, the ship, your largest ship with 132 on board, what I was referring to being the same size as some of the mainstream cruisers,
Right, yes.
it actually but they're cruising with 180 to 200 passengers on board.
Yep.
So that definitely means that you've got bigger cabins and
Much more space per
and
passenger.
more and no lining up in the restaurants.
No,
and
and when you go to the restaurant, you can all go to dinner at the same
Right.
time if you want to. It doesn't have sittings. Now, dinner is served between 6:30 and 8:30. If you get there at 8:29, you still get a full service meal. Now, of course, all beverages are included on board the ship, and it doesn't matter if it's top shelf, bottom shelf, middle shelf, it makes no difference. Soft beverages, alcoholic beverages. Our house champagne is Moet, and you can have that for breakfast, lunch and dinner and everything in between. And I'll tell you that I have had it for breakfast, lunch and dinner and everything in between.
Look, when I did my accreditation and I found out that that Moet was the house champagne, you should have seen the sparkle in the eyes that went around the room.
I know, everybody's like, oh, okay, if I must.
If we must.
I also love a particular wine, Le Châteauneuf de Pape, from the Avignon region in France. And it's one of my favourite, and I had a beautiful blend. And I choose to drink that wine on board the ship as well. We choose to showcase the local wines, so that beautiful local European wines, which are spectacular for our guests to try. But if you really like something else, you can order it off the wine list, and if we've got it in the cellar, it's definitely available for all of our guests. Now, we'll also include Wi-Fi for all of our guests. That's definitely included all the time.
Yes.
And
got to tell the kids where you are.
Absolutely, and it's the same with when we charter with Penant, because Penant includes Wi-Fi, so we of course have that for our clients as well. Now, what we'll do when we work with other operators like Penant, also Windstar, Silversea, what we do is we'll charter the ship or do a part charter, and then we'll bookend the cruise with land experiences on either end with a tour director that looks after our guests the whole time. Now, speaking of our tour directors, we actually have on our river program 3 tour directors and a cruise director to look after our guests. It means that they have a local guide as well as the tour director that they know that accompanies them on all of the land journeys, all of which are included.
So really, travelling with Tauck, there's really no really better way of doing it, is there?
It's easy.
You know,
it's the best of everything, and it's easy.
Yeah, and so as Sharon has said, the hardest thing you're going to need to do is to pick up the phone and give me a call on the details coming up on the screen down below. My name's Craig, I'm your travel expert, and remember, life is really too short to be having a boring holiday.